Watching 13 News, Kansas News Leader.
Death is a part of life, but it can be taboo to talk about it openly. The Death Cafe aims to change that. Emily Howell is an advanced planning specialist at Dove Cremations and Funerals. She is here with local author and grief counselor Joy Bishop. Welcome, ladies. And this is an attention-getting name. And I had some people in the community actually tell me about this and say, you need to find out about the Death Cafe. Sounds very morbid, but what is it actually?
It's more of a social franchise where people can get together to have an open and meaningful conversation about death. It's not like based on like a foundation or a brick and mortar, but it's wherever we want to go to have a meeting. So our next one we're going to host actually at the Westridge Mall at the food court. So we're just inviting anybody who would like to come. The conversation's very fluid and organic. I have some prompts, but we never need them. It just continues to flow.
This is actually an international effort, and you started it here 5 months ago?
Yes. Yeah.
Had it been tried before and kind of ebbs and flows?
I've never tried it before. Okay. Yeah. So I just started it and it's just going really well. And from what I understand, it was started in 2011 by this guy named John Underwood and his mom. And they host it in 93 countries.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So is it like discussing advanced planning, or is it just discussing whatever pops into somebody's mind?
Well, actually, there's no agenda.
No agenda?
No, there's no agenda, and you're actually not, there's nothing you're supposed to have concluded. So it's just open. There's no meaning to it other than let's talk about it. And we just have these open conversations.
Yeah, Joy, we've had you here before because you wrote a book about that helps people facilitate discussions and conversations at the end of life.
Yeah.
You're sponsoring this next session. What intrigued you when you heard about the concept?
Well, years ago, I wanted to do the Death Cafe, but there's a lot of rules around it, and you're not supposed to bring an agenda. You're not supposed to bring your own religion into it. It's just an open conversation. So Emily's doing such a great job, and people are showing up and going, I don't know why I'm coming. I don't like to talk about death, but I keep showing up. So it's, you can come and not say anything and just sit there and listen. Some people do that. We have hospice nurses coming. It's been great. So
So people don't necessarily have the same professional backgrounds. Are these people, are people coming who are facing the end of life or with a loved one facing end of life, or are they just saying, this is interesting and I'm kind of curious what the next chapter has in store?
Yes, all of that. We've had everybody show up from every walk of life with everything going on in their lives, so and we keep coming back. And I talk about death with my clients and grief and loss, and I keep coming back because it helps me personally. And I never get enough of it. So I'm learning things, and I'm able to share how I feel about things that I couldn't necessarily share with my clients. But I would if they were there. So yeah, it's been nice.
How does this typically flow? How do you start it?
Generally, I start the conversation with introducing who you are and what brought you to the Death Cafe, and then it just goes. And we host it for about 2 hours, and before you know it, you're like, oh, it's time's up.
What's usually the first thing you say? I mean, after everybody introduces themselves, then somebody has to start. So do you just say, you want to say what's on your mind, or do you typically have the first prompt? What would a typical prompt be?
Generally, somebody says something in their introduction that another person's curious about. And then we just start bouncing back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's really intriguing. I'm thinking about this going, I can just see where the conversations could and potentially flow. So this travels, is that correct?
Yes.
So Westridge Mall is the next location. Yeah. You have you're sponsoring because you're providing beverages
and some snacks, and so we want people to come and sit down with us.
And this is free?
Yeah, it's totally free.
All right. If this intrigues you, because I'm fascinated. The Death Cafe from 4 to 6 p.m. Friday, January 24th is the next session. Westridge Mall is where you go. The food court is where they're going to have this. Where can people find out about future sessions? Do you post this a specific place?
They can go to the Death Cafe's website to find all of the future meetings that I'll be hosting, and they can also reach out to me through that forum.
All right. And what is the website?
Death Cafe.
Death Cafe.
Yeah.
All right.
Then search local meetings, and then it'll populate the Topeka ones.
All right. It's a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much for being here and telling us about it.
Thank you.
Check it out if you're interested. We're going to get a look at that.